Hello and welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I'm your host, Ty Spiker Christensen. What, your husband's out working at 10 p.m.? Is he a... We got Jordan Christensen on the podcast.
Hello. I actually don't have a quote for this one. I tried to remember how to pronounce that word the guy said for beautiful.
Umwasa.
Umwasa. And then
Umwasa.
I like that she redid it, that word later on, describing the house because she knew so few words.
I think it'd be funny if it was just the word for slut. And he's like, your house is very slutty. And she's like, oh! It would have been the perfect in keeping with the prank.
Yeah.
Anyway. And we've got Cameron Mickle on the podcast.
I want an apology. Yeah, he's like, what I realize is I want an apology.
I just want an apology. Dude, best use of a shopping bag in a movie, can we all agree? Like for suspense wise, come on. Like that was S tier right there. That was so good.
Oh, you're talking about when they
Oh
you
yeah,
couldn't
no,
tell
you know
away.
exactly what I'm talking about. The
Okay.
subway
On the subway
bag.
when you're like, what do you got in there? Some oranges?
Yeah, dude, like it was so well
those
done.
darn pomegranates are just bleeding through the bag.
Whoever the prop guy is, maybe they just had a head and they like shrink wrapped it but it was so ambiguous and yet so well done where you're like, I see it. I can see it. And then yeah, that was amazing.
It reminded me exactly of the blood on those knives, that was from killing chickens.
Oh, was it?
What was that from?
That's from Zodiac.
Oh,
yeah.
No, and the bloody knives were from chickens.
That's right.
That's right.
No
Just
one said anything
slayed
about bloody
some
knives,
animals.
brother.
I know. I love how guilty he makes himself look.
We are reviewing Watcher, a 2022 film directed by Chloe Okuno. I definitely butchered that. Written by Zach Ford and Chloe as well. And it stars
And
Jordan...
Chloe, she did a section of VHS where there's this like creepy rat in the sewer. It's really good. I liked it. You were about to say Maika?
Yeah, it stars Maika Monroe, who
My
Jordan's
wife.
with.
Is that your Hollywood crush, Jordan?
No, I just like really like her like sad performances. She's kind of like the sad
Significant Others, It Follows, in this. Am I missing something else? What else is she?
The Guest. I like her in The Guest as well.
Oh, she's in The Guest. Okay.
She's also in what's it called? It's so bad. I can't even remember the name of it.
After something, everything.
Yeah, it also stars After Everything. It stars Jeremy Allen White. So it's like really good like duo, but it's horrendous.
It wasn't great. But she's in another movie I actually just recently saw that already came out, I guess. And I didn't even realize it's called The Stranger on Hulu. I want to check it out and see if it's any good. It's about she's being chased by a serial killer. So I'm like, yes. And then Ty showed me that trailer for the new Nicolas Cage movie where she's a detective. I'm like, yes.
That's the one I want to see.
Yeah.
And I sent you. Did you watch the trailer for that, dude?
Yeah, it's the Alien trailer basically. Like the letters are slowly appearing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like a bunch of symbols because it doesn't even spell the word. But then, what was that movie? I wrote it down. I'll have to find it. The new Nick Cage, Maika Monroe. I'm excited to see that. That looks freaking great. Like,
and then
you don't even.
It
you
also
just hear Nick
stars.
Cage. Yeah. What was that, Cameron?
I was saying it also stars Carl Glusman and Bern Gorman. Those are the main important ones.
Bern Gorman,
the
psycho?
The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was gonna say. Right when he goes, "Do you feel in charge?" It's the other guy.
Yeah, he's the guy who's like, "Leave us," and then he leaves. He's the guy that leaves.
Yeah,
he learned all the serial killer tips from Bane. He's also in the Second Pacific Rim.
Is there anything else I've seen him in? Maybe there's like a creepy film I've seen him in because he played that part way too well.
He's also in Ghosted, which was horrendous.
Ghosted.
He's in Enola Holmes.
Enola Holmes. I didn't see that one. Yeah, he's got a spot in Hollywood. He reminds me of Willem Dafoe a little bit. Like
apparently he's also in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay, I must have seen him there then because I was like, there's definitely a role I've seen him in outside of. I wonder what part he played. Does it say his character?
It says scientist.
Oh, okay. I wonder if that's the Flowers for Charlie episode where they try to make Charlie smarter. And then not any of these dumb idiot scientists can make I am more smarter. So great, dude. If you haven't watched Sunny, that's a top tier episode. Flowers for Charlie.
It's not as good as the ransom one. I gotta give it $50 million.
So guys, this movie, what was it like watching it for the first time and rewatching it for the podcast? Jordan, start us out.
Oh, yeah. So it's on Shudder, and I think I subscribed to Shudder just to watch this movie.
It's also on Hulu, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
It was on
And
Netflix at one point, right?
yeah, I think it just bounced around to different streaming services, but what I meant to say, it's a Shudder original. And I mean, if you remember, there's like a million logos at the beginning. Not as many as the movie we watched yesterday,
Late Night
Ty,
with the Devil, yeah.
or last
Yeah.
week. Yeah, but like we mentioned, though, I'm really glad like lots of these
And
small.
no AI, folks.
I,
I
I'm
just
just really.
heard about all this controversy about AI being used in Late Night with the Devil, and I'm like, eat my shorts, dude. Still
Was
a
it
better
really?
movie than any. Well, they used it for the time cards. That's it. And they're all like,
Oh,
but this is the controversy. We're now using AI. It's going to replace people's jabs. Take our jabs. And I'm like, yeah,
take
well,
your
it's still a better
chips.
movie than anything you've made. So make a better movie than AI, and I'll pay to see your movie. Anyway, I don't care about this stuff. I'm like, AI is inevitable. I am inevitable. Anyway, I just think it's funny that everyone's talking about it. Like, don't put AI in movies. I'm like, if it's better than anything else put out by Disney,
Ye-
be my
Yes, especially
guest.
right now, I'm
Be
watching
our
all of
guest.
Bruce Willis's last films before he stopped making
Boo.
movies. And yeah, I'm like, man, maybe we should have AI directing. These are trash.
But see, I was the one that voiced like, isn't it like messed up that they had brought Moff Tarkin back from the dead to be in Star Wars? And I'm like, let the guy rest in peace. I mean, unless the family got a bunch of
Oh, you're
sweet
talking about
money,
the CGI stuff
yeah, they brought
or
a guy
whatever it
back
is.
from the dead, and they're like, look, he's alive again, and he's in this
They,
movie, and it's like, this is just weird. It's weird.
I mean, it's the start of many things to come. But anyways, back
Yeah,
to this amazing movie. So I
yeah.
watched it, I believe on Shudder. I might have bought it, but
Would you say the movie was Fumwasa, Jordan? This
Fumasa?
was a Fumwasa movie.
That
I,
movie's
I
beautiful.
I
Beautiful.
can't. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fumasa. I can't honestly
Fumwasa.
remember if it was Red Letter Media or if I watched it first and then saw them. I've always kind of kept tabs on Maika Monroe's movies because occasionally I'm just like, oh yeah, these movies are so good. I love when she acts as like this really sad character. And I don't mean to make her typecast, but I do appreciate when she's like plays the sad, stressed out character because
As soon
she
as you get
plays it so
typecasted
well.
as a sad person, you'll die in that category. I've never seen somebody escape the sad typecasting.
Yeah,
Like
sad
Casey
flick.
Affleck will
Yeah.
forever be the sad boy.
Yeah.
He's just like in Yes Man 2 or something.
Yeah, see Ryan
Casey Affleck.
Ryan Gosling can only escape it because he didn't start off in the genre. But as soon as you get typecasted as the sad person, then it's like, well, have fun being that for the rest of your career.
Well, and especially if you're really good at it, and she's really good at it. So I just really appreciate it, and I really love this movie, and for a lot of reasons, I'm
Well,
excited
it's
to
so
get
funny.
into.
It's so funny. I literally, well, you were saying that. I just have to mention when you mentioned typecast, this is in that same vein. I literally wrote, oh no, Micah Monroe's going to get typecast as a character that can't sit through a movie at the theater. And I'm obviously referring to It
Oh
Follows when they're
yeah,
in the theater. And she's like, do you see that girl walking up toward us? He's like, what girl? Is the yellow dress? And he goes, we got to, and he like gets up and they leave
yeah.
the movie.
She's
And
she's
anyway,
got two of the worst theater experiences of all time.
yeah, for different reasons. But oh
Some
my
dude
gosh,
sitting
dude.
right behind her in the Fetchin theater, bro. Just
Yeah, just breathing on her neck.
That was so good. That was so well done. Like with so little, you can do so much. Because like even if you describe the plot, woman moves to Romania with her husband, who's trying to get this, ahead in his career. She's a failed actress and starting anew, living in a place completely isolated. And
Did,
then she gets this impression that there's someone watching her, stalking her, and eventually, she's kind of going on the offense and it's just like, hey, this guy's been stalking me and all this stuff, and everyone just kind of gaslights her. But they don't do it in a way where it's like upsetting, right? They're like, you're just a crazy woman. It's like, no, I mean, like they're like, yeah, he's looking at you, you're looking at him, like I don't understand. Like it's hard to be like, this is a problem,
well,
except when there's a fetching decapitating murderer on the loose. I don't get it. I'm sorry guys, I tried to see it from his point of view, but I'm like, it just happened in this neighborhood. And then they think they caught the guy, so I get why they
Hi, they
also
caught the guy.
they caught the guy. They found his DNA, and I was like, plant. It's a fetching plant, man.
at least you have him to keep you
Inside job.
company, Ty.
Yeah, at least they have the spider to keep me company. Is that what
Yeah,
you
that's kind of
said?
Is that what you said?
So
that's-
funny.
That's kind of a crazy joke to make, like knowing that she's not gonna understand it.
Insane.
I'm like,
Oh, dude, yeah, the husband is, and that was the point where I was like, oh, bad husband. But then again, I'm like, he thinks he's completely fine mocking his wife in front of
I know
everybody else for a joke
somehow
she's
would have
never
been
going to
better if you
understand.
caught him cheating than saying that comment. I think
I wouldn't
he
quite
would
go
have been
that
more
far, Cameron,
redeemable.
but,
he would have been more redeemable for coming with another woman than him saying like, at least a serial killer.
Yeah, he's trying to his
I'm
boss,
like,
so he, so
yeah.
way he could get a
Oh
raise or
my
whatever.
gosh.
That's so funny.
Did you guys at all take you back to your missions? Because we all served in different countries for a church.
No, this place was beautiful, and the people were
Oh.
pretty respectable, except the one guy that decapitates people. But
No.
no, that took me back to my dude. Okay, that's crazy. You just unlocked this memory. There was a decapitating murderer in Lol, is what it's called. LOLOL in Chile. Look this up. This guy had decapitated several people. I'll send you guys the story, but it's so true that you said that. It unlocked a memory because while I was watching it, I was like, I didn't think of my mission, but now that you say that, I'm like, there was literally a murderer that decapitated people and had someone's head in a jar.
Maybe
So.
you just knew Spanish from the get-go, but like it was really hard for me to learn Spanish, and it took me a long time. And
Okay, you're talking about just the language.
I'm talking about the isolation, and I just feel like that kind of added to her paranoia and isolation, just feeling disconnected from people. It adds.
They did a really good job at showing that.
Yeah, and I feel like this film wouldn't be as probably as powerful if you understood the language, because
no subtitles. I even tested it. I was like, do they give subtitles?
Yeah.
I put it in English. None. I loved it. And you're like, yeah, you know as much as Maika does. Maybe a little less because she was studying it and she kind of was piecing together. But no, halt. There was one time on the TV. Let me read this word. Tell me what you think this word is. Decapitar. It said decapitar on the TV. And I was like, that woman was fetching decapitated. And I knew the husband was lying away.
Yes.
Decapitar. And I was like, he's like, oh, they didn't say. And I'm
They
like,
didn't say. I was like, what? Liar.
Liar.
Yeah, I also don't understand why he didn't just like explain a little bit better. He was just kind of like, and I was just like, bro, just say, oh, I just didn't want to like psych you out.
I didn't want to worry you. That's all you have to say. I didn't want you to worry.
Yeah, it's like you're
I
already
didn't
stressed.
think that all of us Romanians are terrible people that decapitate people.
Yeah. But Jordan,
Cameron, how about you?
Was it better on the rewatch, Jordan, or no?
I still love it just as much. Obviously, you can never like relive that first, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And I still don't know how I feel about the end, but we can get into that in a minute. But I really
feel
love
about the end. What, you wish she would have gotten decapitated? Spoiler alert, she doesn't. She survives.
Well, does she
Ending's
survive? She lost
perfect.
a lot of
I'll tell you
blood.
why. Yeah.
Well, no, it just cut like right as she's looking at her husband. I'm like, what? Like
it's perfect. I'll tell you why.
I thought it was
All right.
excellent. I actually hate when they like show the aftermath and like show him in the ambulance. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, what they needed was the scene where they're in the ambulance and then, well, no, they're fine. They got the trauma blanket on, and then the ambulance next to him. It's like, oh, he's alive. He has a pulse. We're gonna get him. And then he like looks over at her and he's watching her. And then he's got the oxygen mask and he's like, oh, it's the final watch of the Watcher.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. Or freaking just do the don't breathe thing where he's on TV and he's like looking at the TV camera. I mean, the guy's touching blind, but he's looking right at the TV camera. Like, I'm going to get better and I'm going to come find you and get you in with my baby. Wretched freak.
But yeah, it's still though holds up as far as atmosphere and I'm so excited to get into just reasons I love it.
Cameron, how about you, man? What was it like watching it for the first time?
So watching it for the pod was the first time, and I mean, it immediately kind of got like Rear Window and Disturbia vibes of like setting the atmosphere of like, oh, everything's normal, but then I'm like, no, it's not. And well, also whatever fantasy world that people live in that sleep with their windows like without the blinds down, bro, the amount of like, I want that to have that level of like calmness and not like psycho thoughts, because that's insane to me to be in a city and sleeping with the windows open. I don't care if it's raining. Like the only reason I'd ever have my windows open if I lived like out in the country, and even then I'd like still want the blinds because I'm like would psych myself out, especially sleeping alone or being alone. And then but yeah, I was just really impressed with kind of like the atmosphere created, and was like on the edge of my seat for like almost the entire film. And I thought they did a good job kind of balancing some of like the I don't know, just like the like the stereotypical tropes of this kind of subgenre of like the captive thriller, of like how you're kind of like a captive audience and like there's limited space, and it was almost like kind of like a play where it's just like the one room and then the other room, that he's in, and then it's like you
Mm.
go into his apartment, and at the moment, dude, the moment she started following him, I'm like, okay, you're literally now you become the creep, and I'm like, I
Well,
don't care,
but
I don't
yeah,
care if he's a
it's so
killer.
good. It's
I'm
so
like, I don't
good.
care if
I'm
you
gonna
become
talk to you about
if
that.
he
Yeah.
is a killer. Now you're the creepy person because I'm like, there's no way to justify. Well, I was just checking to see because that's the thing too. Is I'm like, if you go and find out that he's a killer, what are you gonna do? You have no guns, no weapons. I'm like, this dude's a killer, and you're just some woman with like that's defenseless. I was
I
like, my brother, where is the logic
Yeah.
here?
I always love when the killer gets like the cops to either get like a restraining order against the other person. Like
Uh-huh.
I love those moments because it's like
Yeah,
Come to my house. You harass my father. I need a cease and desist, please. We'll get a restraining order
it
on this
reminds
chick.
me of a lot of prisoners. They didn't scream when I
Mm.
took them. When I left them.
Yeah, they only cried when I left them. Yeah.
But which
I
part
love
in
it.
this movie reminds you of that?
Just
They
when he
only
came over and like the police are like making her shake hands or whatever, because they're like,
Oh,
"Oh,
interesting.
you're taking advantage of this poor man." And I'm like, she just had to shake hands with a serial killer who just squeezed it a little too tight. I'm like, you should have shot him on sight, bro. When he started squeezing that hand out of 3 shots in his
Don't
head.
touch me. Don't touch me.
No, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I also
yeah.
thought that it was good. I thought it was gonna end really depressing with like when
I
'cause, like,
know.
when she gets like her kind of her throat slit and then she like lays down. I was like, oh shoot. I also knew that the gun was in the drawer because I was like, she mentioned earlier. What if he does and he comes over?
Chekhov's gun. Let's get the gun. Get the gun. The gun's in the. It's
I
the bomb. It's the saving grace. It's the.
Because it ends so abruptly, I actually forgot that she lived. And so I'm like, oh man, this is depressing. I'm like, why did I decide to choose this movie? I forgot about that.
So me watching it, yeah, this movie feels a lot like, I don't know if you guys ever saw Berlin Syndrome. There's a lot of similarities to that movie to this movie, and if you like this movie at all, Berlin Syndrome's it's almost more mature and even like more there's parts of it that are definitely more bleak. So if you like it, but it's good. I thought it had Kristen Stewart, but I think it's a different actress. I think it's you'll have to look it up for me. Berlin Syndrome.
Teresa Palmer.
Teresa Palmer.
I also
Yeah.
forgot to mention for some reason this has like a similar feel and vibe to The Possessor. I don't know why. Like
Oh.
Atmosphere, maybe?
Yeah, the atmosphere of it
I will say, yeah,
of
I don't know if
Possessor.
Romania has apartment buildings with such tall windows. Everything just felt so tall, and I was like, that's pretty cool. Like the apartment just seemed nicer, even though they didn't have electricity to start. Like really tall windows, wide door frames, just high ceilings. I don't know, it just kind of made you feel like I don't know. It felt like, yeah, there could be eyes in any corner. I don't know. I think they
Yeah.
did a really good job with like so first time watching it, even like from the opener, I'm like, oh, it's called The Watcher. And then like as you back out, you're watching this intimate scene play out between her
Yeah.
and her husband, and you're like watching obviously from the Watcher's point of view. And you're like, maybe that's where it all started. And I even love like I said, less is more. This does a really good job at being like they do the few things really, really well. Where is it paranoia or is it real, right? Or is it supernatural or is it not? This is like, yeah, is she being paranoid? Because like you could read into any one thing and you're like, maybe they're going to reveal that it's not, or because they do that with obviously Rear Window in Shia LaBeouf, right? There's the fake out where it's like there's a perfectly logical explanation for what happened, even
Yeah.
though it may have seemed out of context really, really bad. But even this movie was even more subtle because like you would even argue, she's like, well, that guy's staring out of his window. And it's like, is it a crime to stare out your window? And how do you even know if he's looking in your window? And again,
See,
that's where
I thought the twist was going to be that he was blind.
Mm.
Like
Cameron, have you seen the Book of Eli, dude? Okay, watch the Book of Eli, and that comment's just 100 times funnier. But like at the end of the movie, I could have sworn I thought he was just blind. Anyway, that just made me laugh. Wait, why would that been the twist? Like
No.
he's
I'm
just
saying
staring out a window and he's a blind guy.
Yeah, no, that's
He
how I
thinks
thought.
he's watching the television. It's a glass screen, right?
That's what, like there's so many like there's like my blind dog loves looking out the window and it's just staring at a wall.
No, I've seen isn't it like my dog loves Interstellar and it's looking the other direction. I've seen that meme, dude. It's just looking the opposite direction. So funny, dude. Anyway,
that's what I thought but then when he put up his hand, I'm like, okay, he definitely a killer.
well, see, and again, so we as
He's like,
audience,
I
we're
was
watching.
waving. Ain't nobody
Yes.
do this.
I loved going into this movie blind because I didn't know this. Yeah, like I didn't know and again, I knew it was like a thriller based on the tone and everything. You kind of
I
got
thought
the
a while ago you tried starting this movie.
I did, and I fell
Okay.
asleep after the part where they were making out and on the couch. I was like, oh,
This is the very
snooze
beginning.
fest. Yeah, like the very
I
first
got
scene.
through not even the opening credits.
Which is funny because I actually
I
also
tried
thought
it.
I thought it was a different actress. I really liked Maika. I thought it was
Can't act like Kirsten Dunst.
yeah, you know what? The poster makes it look like it's the girl from Arrested Development. I don't know why. I think she's married to Ellen DeGeneres. I don't know. It just made me laugh. But anyway, this movie is great though. I like it. It's very restrained and it's very sleek and it's very good at being subtle. So very much like it. Yes.
No,
Right
she
up my
kind of looks
alley.
like she kind of looks like the girl from 10 Cloverfield Lane. What's her name?
Oh yeah,
Mary Elizabeth Winstead,
and
Yeah.
but not blonde. I've never seen her in a blonde. I don't know. The
Uh-uh.
poster
But
made me definitely think of what's
they,
her face.
but
But she's
I like
she's literally blonde version of that.
it's just white.
I couldn't
It's like
see any of
this.
your camera.
Gosh dang it!
Look, yes. You need to turn down the brightness on your camera, dude.
I-
Anyway, what were you saying, Jordan? There you go.
Oh, there you go.
No, I know who Mary Elizabeth Winstead is.
she-
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but her blonde is pretty much very similar.
Oh, to be fair, yeah, you mean the actress Maika. Yes, I
Yeah.
agree that they look similar. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What were you
I'll
thinking?
give you that. I thought he was saying like the poster made you think. I don't know what I was saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like she definitely looks like her, and you're like,
Looks
no,
kind of like her. Yeah,
no.
no. I don't know. I was just particularly the poster of the movie. I had the same problem with something about Mitch or something like that, or Confess Fletch. That's what it was with John Hamm. I thought Aubrey Plaza was going to show up. She's not in the movie.
No, it's the other chick that Cameron's obsessed with.
Yeah. No, it's not Ana de Armas. Confess
not?
Fletch is no. And see, you just look at the poster. You thought it was Ana de Armas. I thought it was featuring Aubrey Plaza. It's a I don't know what she is. She's Italian or some different person altogether, which is so funny because we literally implanted different actresses just based on the poster because
Who?
it's
What's it
drawn.
called?
Confess Fletch. It's a pretty good movie. It's John Hamm. It's kind of like a whodunit. It reminds me of Knives Out in a way.
Man,
Well, like
y'all
Knives Out.
crazy.
It's pretty fun. Crazy.
Yeah.
Jordan thought it was Ana de Armas. I thought it was Aubrey Plaza. That's hilarious. But yeah, you see it and you're like, who is that actress? Yeah, who is it? It's a drawn image. So anyway, The Watcher, it's hard because you see the reflection of the is it the window or the Watcher, right? I don't know.
I think
what
the
it is.
Watcher and her
Yeah.
just a part of her
Yeah,
eye.
like on the reflection. Yeah. Let's get into two of our favorite things. Cameron, what do you like?
I love kind of the subtlety that comes with Bern Gorman, who was the Watcher. I love it, like his performance.
Did you ever for a second not think he was guilty, Cameron? I'm just curious because I can see you in the train station thinking you're guilty.
I mean, yeah, I was definitely team murder him ASAP. There was like a slight moment of hesitation in my desire to murder him was when he said like my sad hobby is like watching people, and when you waved,
You
like,
actually bought into his lies, yes.
well, for a second, and I was
No,
like,
that wasn't a lie though. What he said, it's
Yeah,
really
that's
disturbing.
yeah.
He's
But
like, I have this
and
bad
so I was
habit,
kind of like,
but when you
dang,
waved,
that's kind of, it was like so depressing that I was like, dang,
Sad.
that's kind of a sad life. But then I was like, still, I'm killing you, bro. I don't trust
see,
you.
and see, I
And
love
they
that you
kept
said
cutting
that.
to the bag, and I'm
Love
like,
that you said
"Yeah,
that
put
though,
something in that
Cameron.
bag."
I love what you said, Cameron. It is sad, and I like that even though you don't agree with it, it's a really good way of showing a side of where you're like, I get where the guy's coming from.
Yeah.
Or at least they make you believe his motivations, right? They just
Yeah.
don't do that enough in movies. And they did it with just like one little monologue. It was so good.
Well, and also because you guys know, like, my favorite subgenre is serial killer thrillers, and so my favorite thing was
Cameron's
kind of like
favorite pastime is serial killing.
kind of like Ty mentioned, like understanding like the mind of him. I thought was so cool. That's why, like, another subtle part of it that was so beautiful was I love when he put his hand on her like bloody hand. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the closest thing that this dude gets to like physical intimacy with anyone. And I'm like, and
All he
this
had to do was stab her, slit her throat, tie her up, put a bag over her head, and decapitate her friend. And that's how you get intimacy. That's pretty cool, Cameron. I agree. That's all he had to do.
and so I just thought it was so interesting that he's just like laying there and he like lays down next to her, like almost like in a similar shot that like when she's cuddling with her husband. And I'm like,
I hated it. I was so mad that he got to do that. It wasn't fair. No, I mean, I like what you're saying, but you were like, I just thought it was beautiful. You said the word
I did not
beautiful.
say beautiful.
You should have said horrifying.
Well, no, I was saying it was so interesting to see that this is
Sure.
his like ideology of like this is how I can get intimacy is like I've just
I
like
don't know why women keep running away from me. Also, same murderer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slashing.
No, so I thought the subtlety that went into that was really good because it kind of set because a lot of times like in serial killer movies they kind of have to like verbalize what the ideology of the serial killer is, which I'm like, I mean, I get it because it's
I
kind
ate his liver with fava beans and a nice Chianti.
but like I enjoyed the parts that like especially because he was kind of a smaller, like a toned down serial killer, like and kind of like maybe like recently started that it was kind of something that he didn't even like have like an established set of rules like a John Doe, where it was just kind of like oh, this is just something like that I do and I like to feel close to people. My second favorite thing is just kind of the use of like the camera work. It was so cool. I loved like I mean just the opening shot it instantly made you uncomfortable by zooming out and it's just like
Yeah.
they're kind of having like a semi-intimate moment and it's like zooming out and just the
We
farther you
use
got
this
away.
term opening shot a lot. It's not the opening shot, but I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. Yes.
Well, it's when opening credits start.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just so interesting that it kind of set the tone that it's like, oh, this is kind of a fun moment. It's like they just got into their new place and it's kind of fun. Like they're kissing on the couch or whatever. But then like the farther it zooms out, the more you're like,
Uneasy you feel,
why
yeah.
are we so far away? And why are we in like a third person perspective? This is making me uncomfortable. Because then like the farther you got out, it seemed like, is somebody watching through this window watching this? And so already kind of set
Am
the
I the
tone.
viewer complicit in watching?
And
Am I the watcher?
along those lines, like
I'm
I really
here.
liked kind of like similar how they put us in their shoes.
Screen goes dark and the contrast glass on your phone like amps up. You just see a picture of yourself watching. Just takes a screenshot of your face. You're like, ugh. And you're like, ah, see, you creep. You're watching these couple make out. You freak. You creep.
Sorry,
and so
Oh, sorry, Kim.
no, it's like a lot of the shots with the cinematography that I thought were really good as well, because similar to how they put us in her Maika's shoes, where like we couldn't understand the language. Also, I love there's a couple shots where like she would quickly look away, then the camera would quickly look away, so we couldn't get a good look at his face too. So I'm like, is it that same guy? I can't fetch and tell. And then also
That
like
was
the
awesome.
security camera, you're like, I can't.
Yes,
even
I
tell
love
if it's
blurry
that person.
photos.
I'm like, oh, that makes me so mad.
Mm.
And so like a lot of those, like I thought the cinematography as well as like the lack of translation, I thought put us in Micah's shoes. That added to the suspense. Because like if we saw it was him, we're like, okay, it's for sure him. But then the fact that it's like, do you go over there? Dude, okay, but I called that though when she went up to his apartment. It was the old man. I'm like, he takes care of that old man, or he's about to
Yeah,
kill
I
old
was
man.
not fooled in the least. Yeah. No worries.
She's
I
like,
knew it.
oh,
I knew it.
what? I was like, are you kidding?
I was waiting for him to be like, "Oh, who are you?" And then the guy comes and like starts strangling him. Ah! He's like,
Wants
"Get
him
back in here!"
Ah!
Yeah, he's like, "Get back in here!" You know.
Yeah. Luckily, it's not barbarian. So
Exactly. No, I actually thought he was gonna like come into frame behind the father. That's what I was waiting
Yeah.
for. But no,
like
but then
like It Follows, where that big tall guy comes, right?
I literally thought that moment, and again, not just because Micah is in that movie, but yeah, there's a lot of beats similar. So my two favorite thing, I like what you said, Cameron, about the for me, it's like the subtlety, less is more. I love, like you said, we only get her perspective, and I think it's really good because we do experience it as she feels it, right? Because like if you gave an objective perspective, you might watch like the two of them at the supermarket, but the way the camera shot is, we're on this side, Micah's perspective, and down the aisle you see a gentleman there, and you can't tell if he's been following her very long or not, or if it's even the same guy in the theater. I really didn't think it was, but then I thought, oh, it's definitely the watcher, because when she knocks over the jar, by the way, craziest supermarket, like the market aisles, it's like it leads you into a corner and you're like, I'm trapped, like terrifying. You're like, I'm trapped with all the pickles, and then she knocks the jar over, and then he like comes over to investigate, and then
he just walks right in the glass. I'm like,
yeah, I knew he was a killer as soon as he stepped on the glass. I had no reaction.
yeah,
that was me knowing.
Insane
yeah, that's when I knew. I was like, this is definitely a killer. But I love this moment, right? And it's so great because she's waiting like back where the employers were. I knew there was going to be employee. Like there were certain beats that were like perfectly fine, but everyone reacted in a way that was very believable. There were a few, like you argue with horror movie decisions that are really bad. I still enjoyed the ones that were made like, oh, don't follow him. Again, given the information that she had been gaslit by her husband. And even to his credit, I like that they did a good job. Like he made a half-hearted attempt when they go to look at the footage, the security footage, and he's like, okay, I see him looking at you. Like what is that a crime? Like, no, he's looking at you. I see him.
He also points out like you're looking at him. Yeah.
He's like, I see a man that's looking back at you. You know, he's looking at a woman that's looking back at him.
There's smashed glass in the back of the store. Of course he's gonna go back.
Yeah, he went to investigate. Is everyone okay? But again, and then even like what's great is when she sends the husband over there with the policeman and they're like, was it the same guy? And the first thing he says to his wife, he's like, look, even if it was the same guy, you know, and he like tries to immediately dissuade her from this. And I think they did a really good job at this movie.
Stop talking to me like I'm a child.
Stop talking. Oh, so I have the spider to keep me company. Thought that was a funny joke. Slap the champagne tray.
Yeah, what did that
poor
waiter ever do, bro?
Oh,
He's just I'm like, homie's just trying to do his job. Okay?
Yeah, but you know what surprised me? So I only speak Spanish and English, but I could have sworn that I understood more. Was it Romanian or Bulgarian? Was it Romanian? Right. I swear I could understand quite a lot based off context, and they did a really good job at that, where I never felt like I was too out of the loop. Like I said, knew that there was a decapitation, some guy named Spider on TV, and I knew that, and I was like, I wonder how late into the film we're gonna find out. And thankfully, it wasn't like the final reveal, because I was like, yeah, I heard it on TV, decapitar, like that is obviously decapitation.
I just love the husband. They didn't say anything.
They didn't say anything. Very quick. He's quick on his feet too. He's probably like, oh my gosh, is she paranoid? Was she gonna like not want to live here because there's a killer? But then immediately when the killer gets taken in, the conversations with the friend, I like those. Like they did a really good job at she had the one connection, and I liked her character, where she's like, oh, I've got this boyfriend and he can be a bit rough, but he comes by, he's harmless. I have his gun, so it kind of evens the playing field. So like they did a good job enough at setting that up. But yeah, so we were into spoiler territory. But anyway, those are the things that I enjoyed from this movie. The subtlety, seeing it from her perspective, I think was really good. And no one overreacted in the way where it's like, you're just crazy, hun. Have you been taking your crazy pills? Ever since you've been a failed actress, you've been so depressed. So maybe you're just imagining this whole scenario. No, it was like, it was very, very well done, where it's like, okay, I understand you feel creeped out that there's a guy watching you, but like, get curtains, get some freaking blinds. They never talked about that. I think at one point they have the curtains, but they never talked about it. I
was waiting for him to say that.
Yeah. It's like, why don't we get some freaking blinds in this place? Like anyone could peek in here. Like we have so many neighbors looking through these windows, and you're concerned about one person, the whole neighborhood could see us. So get some freaking blinds up in this and close down the shop. All right. No more looky-loos.
I was curious if you guys thought their relationship lasted after the movie ended.
Oh, see, that's hilarious that you say that, because I was like 100%. It's like, hey, honey, did you remember to change the laundry? It's like, oh yeah, I'd love to do that. Remember the time that you thought that I was crazy and I was attacked by a vicious serial killer named
I had my throat slit?
I had my throat slit by him? Like, oh, you mean like like you forgot that? Yeah, I was like, dude, this relationship does not last. Sorry. That moment where she looks over at him and was like, I told you so. See, when you said I told you so, Cameron, I was like, that's literally what she said before the credits rolled, right?
No, dude. What I thought she was gonna say is, believe me now.
Believe me now.
Seriously.
Believe me now. That's you have to edit me out there, but sorry. That's exactly what she was thinking, right? And we were all thinking it too. We're like, oh, how many times have I gaslit my wife, being like, you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, oh, shoot. She was right. She was right the whole time.
I called it. I wish that was one thing I wish they would have been a little more subtle on. Is I wish he would have been more subtle on the mentioning that he was in the closet. I wish they would have just left that like ambiguous, because I totally was like, go check that closet, bro.
Yeah. Oh, we all did. There, I knew it. I knew it. No, so remember, he already stepped on the glass at this point,
cat.
Right? No, I know.
Oh, I know. Oh my gosh, she's like,
I already knew he was
I heard
there.
a scream. It's like it's a cat.
Like a woman.
I heard a scream. I don't want to. I know. I'm like, you didn't even look like down into the closet. Yeah, He's like, that would have been very awkward for all of us. So you found us back there. No, just awkward for you, bro. Murderer.
you would've
Okay.
got-
The
you would've got
spider.
maybe one more victim, but then all those people.
I can't stop killing people. Okay, here I go. I just,
All right,
oh
Jordan,
boy, I
Jordan,
love
you too,
killing.
you
Here I
too.
go killing again. That was a great line from this movie, right? They call me the spider because I tear off the head of my victims. I guess that's something that spiders do. No, but he set a
Did-
trap, right? At the very end, he earned his name, man.
So I'm
He drew
curious,
her
did
out.
you think
Loved it.
when they said, oh, the spider was caught, did you think the guy had the evidence planted? Okay.
Yeah, 100%. I knew it. Because guess what? Thriller movies don't end with a serial killer going away after the first 5 minutes. All right. So yeah. They
I
plant
just didn't
that
know if
shit.
you checked the time just to see how much time you had left. Oh, okay.
I did like
Okay.
when did I check the time? About an hour in. I was like, how much like I was like, where are we at? Because I did want to know, like, is this a second act or is this like the final? Because I loved how subtle it was being, but I was also like, oh, things are gonna ratchet up really quick. And I was right. And then it was like 10 minutes left. I'm like, oh snap, like this is it. This is gonna be the big, and I liked how they did it. So all right, Jordan, what are your 2 favorite things?
Yeah, I've already mentioned one, Maika Monroe. Love her sad performances. She's so great at just being stressed all the time. You just have this look in her eyes. You're like, run. And just kind of going off of what Cameron said, but kind of adding to that, because he talked about kind of that atmosphere they created and all the times you didn't really see him fully. But there were some shots too that I don't know if it was thanks to the lighting or these days they can actually digitally add a lot of like darkness or whatever. So I wonder if some of those shots they did that because you literally, because I'm thinking of The Godfather, they called the cinematographer the Prince of Darkness or whatever, because you couldn't see their eyes. So they're kind of
I think
showing
that's
like
Ozzy Osbourne during
they,
they
oh
call
my
it Prince
gosh,
of Darkness.
they have no soul. And so I love this movie. There's so many times where he's just like black faced and all you see is like the silhouette, like him inside the
Bro, anyone who looks
What?
through their curtains is definitely a serial killer. He's just like
Yes.
staring through them, just
I love when the guy's like he looks across the thing and you see a little tiny crack in the curtains. And I love that because he's like, no, I don't see him. He's not looking through or anything. And I'm like, there's a slit. He's clearly looking through that little slit. And
and then when he's like,
yeah,
Yeah, flipping them
I'm
off.
like, yeah, let's provoke a serial killer. Like, are you kidding me?
yeah, just
And
so many.
again, see, I'm with you guys. It's almost like, okay, is it a crime to be sitting out your window? You don't even know if he's looking into your apartment. Is it even like kind or even makes sense to just go and flip off outside your window into the ether? Like, look, I lived in an apartment on my mission like this, and we had neighbors. I had one guy throw his wife into the sliding glass door and shatter it and busted it one night. Cops showed up, sirens, the lights, everything. I remember thinking,
Well,
like,
you
this
never
is
put the
insane.
TV on this wall.
That's right.
So thankfully it wasn't the TV. Yeah, thankfully not the TV. It's the sliding glass door. Anyway, yeah, that reaction was so weird. And again, the husband, that was one where I was like, I get what he's doing. He's trying to appease his wife, like, hey, don't mess around here, man. And he even says, like, hey, I'd protect you. And she laughs. And he's like, you seriously didn't laugh at that right now. And I'm like, you haven't demonstrated that one, you would be there to protect her. And I'm with her. You're kind of a scrawny little guy who can't
Also,
even
his
okay.
his first thing to do in a romantic situation is to like choke her. I'm like, maybe not the vibe right now, brother. She just talked about being like,
He didn't try to choke her. He just had his hand on her throat. Maybe he did try to squeeze too much, but she goes, I don't know why I reacted that way. Did he actually
What?
try to squeeze? I have to go back and watch that.
I don't think so. I don't think he was trying to squeeze.
I think he had his hand up and he was like, put it next to her neck or something.
I think
She
he was
did
just, yeah, he
it backed up, but
I don't know. I was just like, she just talked about somebody stalking her, and he's like,
I didn't
I'm
see
like,
the, yeah, I'll have to go back and watch
read
it.
the
Like, did
room,
he,
buddy. Read the
yeah.
room.
No, I agree where it's like, hey, I'm right now. And she's like, literally like, there might be a serial killer here. It's like, hey, you know what? Let's go, girl. Like, I don't think so. Yeah, thanks.
He's definitely got that guy brain.
Yeah, he's that guy right now. He's like, I flipped the guy off for you, man. I would have died for you. And then we needed the Emma Stone from the freaking the curse. Oh, you would have died for me right now? Is that what you would have done? That's what we needed, dude. We need Emma Stone to just emasculate this guy. But anyway, keep going, Jordan.
yeah, that's basically it. I just all the times that they showed him, usually it's just I think, yeah, silhouette because he's just completely dark, like in the theater, in across and the building every time, even when he was like looking up at her down the hallway when she looked down, and because remember she checked, it was the old man, then she walked back and then he's standing at the bottom of the stairs. You're like,
Yeah.
Ron.
There he is.
So many great moments of just every time you see him. And I love too, Cameron mentioned earlier that you didn't know if it was the same guy. Like I just love there's all these moments and you don't know until it gets closer to the end. You start to piece the parts together and you're like, oh, he's
And we
definitely.
don't see the actor like fully until the cops bring him there, which I enjoyed because it's
Yes.
like, is this man? And you're like, and you look at him, you're like, guilty,
Look
guilty,
at his
guilty.
face. He's a killer.
Yeah, look at him. He's obviously a killer. He's so scary. They only hire people like this. Yeah, he's not nice at all.
Have you
And
ever seen
even-
a person like
and
this?
even
that's your
he's so
friendly
creepy too
neighborhood
because he just
watcher?
like when they open it, he's never looking. He's always looking away, and I think that was a good touch too. He couldn't look at her in the eye and everything because again, when he got waved at, he's like, oh, maybe you have something special, and the husband flips him off, and he's probably like, oh, he's just jealous of what we have. And then like he's being stalked by her, and he's like, this is great, she's coming to watch me at work, mop the floors. Maybe she really does find me attractive. And then he's like, why are you running away from me? I cut off your best friend's head. I don't understand. Why does every woman I meet run away?
Ty's profile of him is insane.
Hey, man, he's wearing his grandma's panties, covered in peanut butter, dancing
covered
around.
himself in peanut butter.
Yeah, that's
So,
how Brad Pitt would profile him.
exactly. Okay, so I will throw out there's a funny scene at the beginning where she's like walking around with her camera and she's like taking pictures of this like cathedral. Looked like a public place. There was no one around.
The guy's like,
we didn't see her speaking. Yeah, he's like, what are you doing? He's like yelling at her in Romanian, and she just like leaves. And I'm like, yeah, that's very much being in another
A
country.
very appropriate response too. She doesn't even try to explain anything. She just like runs.
She's like, hey, I'm sorry. Yeah, like I don't want to get filed or paperwork or anything. Yeah, get out of there, dude. Guy's just yelling at her. There was one guy in the theater that looked terrifying. It was the one that was further back, and I was like, who watches the movie Charade like that? The other guy in the theater looked scarier than the killer in the end, but he's just staring like this, like go back and watch it. There are two scary men in that theater. Okay, so terrifying. He's just all alone watching a movie. But maybe I look like that when I'm watching movies. I don't know. So go back and watch it.
I was about to say, what sicko watches movies alone? And I'm like, all three of us.
Yeah, I know. Like exactly. I know. I caught myself and I was like, who looks that scary watching movies? I'm like, I probably still do. Yeah. I'm just like,
you watch it like The Shining.
That's just like, yeah, it's freaking Jack Torrance. He's like, yeah, terrifying, dude. And then anyway, I put we're all watchers in the end. That's my comment. That is last. I have some other nitpicks. What are the gun laws in Romania? Can anyone just own a gun?
That
like,
definitely seems like a black market gun. I mean, she probably
right. And it was from her boyfriend.
Not to make a hasty generalization, but if she's has a firearm, I would assume that she didn't get it registered.
Well, Romania, like I don't even know the gun laws, but you can own your own dragon, right? Like, okay.
That was bad.
That was really bad. Guys, I'm here all night. That was a good joke.
I said my message for the movie was predators stalk their prey unless their prey has a revolver.
I like my free tip for the movie was, if there's a beheading happening near you and you literally match all of the victims in looks, maybe don't wave to the strange man across the way. That was my advice, okay? Because I know she was seeing if he was watching her.
Yeah, I think she just wanted to verify, because it's almost like maybe he's not
again,
looking
it's
at
almost
me.
an invitation is my point. This is one of those things with the devil. It's like if you never wave, he doesn't know that you actually knew. And now when he said you waved, that was like the whole thing that set this in motion, in my opinion. So I actually think it may have been her desire to know, because she knew if she could get him to wave back, that she had the validation to know that he was in fact watching her. Because everyone else said, hey, I don't see him. He's not in the window anymore. He doesn't seem to be looking in. Everyone had by that point moved on, but she's like, I know you're watching me.
I also love what like the said of how she was like, honestly, the best case scenario is like ambiguity. She's just like, the unknown is the best case in this scenario, that you move away and you just never know whether or not like he was actually looking after you. See, and just like you're saying, the moment that she wanted to kill that ambiguity and was like, hey, do you see me? And the moment he put his hand back up, I'm like, All right, you already got rid of the best case
marked
scenario.
yourself. Yeah, you
Already got
marked
rid of best case scenario.
targeted you. And she probably had no idea that worst case scenario was the guy that mops the floors of where she works is gonna lop her head off. That's too bad.
Also, I love when like women in serial killer movies think that staring down a serial killer will scare him so bad that he will like stop stalking her. Like it's always like the girl's like, and then they're like, I'm like, they might make him uncomfortable, but it's not gonna stop him from killing you. I always think
trying to
that's
think what scene in particular you're referring to, like in the subway or
like,
something, or
like no, like when she's in the window or whatever, and then she's like, no, and stares at him or whatever. I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's interesting.
I don't remember this. She looks away and she's like, no, but I must. I don't remember the scene.
Yeah, she like
I
stares.
must.
She like thinks that she's gonna like being brave at staring at him. I'm like, if
Interesting. I'll have-
anything, it's letting him know that you see him. Like, what the fudge?
Yeah, waving to him. Yeah, like I said, I think
Acknowledgement
it's
is the
what set it off.
biggest danger with crepos like that.
Yeah. Watching him mop the floors. I love like 3 different scenes where he literally starts to look up and it looks away. You mentioned that, Cameron, but he's like mopping the floor and he's like about to turn around and look up. She darts out of the way. The grocery store, he's there shopping. And then even like the theater, he like leans forward in his seat and you can hear him just right behind her and she gets up and bolts out of the theater. So really good situations where they're all happening in public places. And again, less subtle, I think it wouldn't have worked, or more obvious and blatant, it probably wouldn't have worked and it wouldn't have been as effective as it was. It was actually a really good way of showing how she also wasn't able to get a good look at him. These are all peripheral, like the grocery store was the closest, right? She like looks sideways and sees him out of the corner of her eye and she looks, and then like he starts to look and then they look away because it's like, I don't want to make that eye contact, but I'm pretty sure this is the guy. The theater, he's sitting behind her, and then
See, but I don't know if you noticed the shoes were the same from the theater and the store.
I that was the other thing I wanted to check, right? Because when he steps on the glass, you do get a close up of the shoe, and I remember thinking, is that the one from the theater?
In the peripherals, when she's looking in the peripherals.
Oh, she sees the shoe, right? Yeah, she
and
sees
it's
the
the same
shoe.
shoe.
So it is the shoe,
It's like the
and
brown
that's
leather.
another good indicator for her, right? Because now she's rationalizing, like, okay, that's the same shoe. Like this has to be the same guy following.
Dude,
her.
I would be freaked out because I thought as the moment the guy was following her in the kind of same like wavelength as you, Ty, I was thinking like this might be the Watcher, definitely not the same guy from the theater. And then when I saw it was the same shoe, I'm like, what the actual fudge?
Yeah, you're like,
I'm like,
there's too many, right?
Also,
yeah,
talk about the most unnatural way to stand up from a she like gets up and starts
to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Oh my.
I'm just gonna get the freak out of here. I mean, to be fair, I kind of get up that quick and try to sprint to the bathroom so I don't miss anything because you can't pause. They need to put intermissions back in movies. Movies have gotten to be 3 hours long as of late. You guys have noticed this, right?
Yes.
You have Christopher Nolan, you have all these epic movies that are 3 hours long. Can we get back to just 2-minute intermissions that play, curtains draw, and then it plays a little overload music? We can all go to the bathroom, get some concessions, and come back. Can we please bring that back? I just needed to say that.
Yeah, if you're gonna do a 3-hour movie, yeah.
If you're gonna do a 3-hour fetching movie, anyway. Movies like this, you guys check out Berlin Syndrome. I think you guys are really gonna like it. I actually think I like it more than Watcher. Personally, because I was actually kind of hoping, I was like, oh, this is really good. Berlin Syndrome was like intense. It's really, really good.
Oh, I just wanted to mention because you kept using the word gaslighting her. When she talks though, especially when she's talking to the cop, I'm sorry, but she does not have any like real concrete anything. So because the guy would ask him like, okay, well, was it him? I think it was. And then like, okay.
I feel like it's a feeling.
It's a feeling.
No, but to be fair though, like I think this movie does a really good job at portraying how women feel. I really do. Like, and how men feel, right? Men like need the logic and reasoning. Women act on intuition and feelings. I know I'm being very sexist here and painting with broad strokes, but tell me sexist, I don't care. A lot of women will think this way, and like it's very easy for us to like shoo those feelings aside and be like, that's ridiculous. You're behaving irrationally. And it's like, no, it's something she couldn't explain. And in the end, obviously, we prove that it's just right. I actually thought an alternative ending to this movie where her head is decapitated, but she's still giving that same look, like I told you so. The husband finds the head, and it's like, I told you so with that look, but it's her body. I mean,
she basically said that though when she walked out of the door after she shut the car.
She did, but I'm just saying, I almost worried that the killer would go by, because then the husband obviously would have realized, oh my gosh, she was right, and I didn't listen to her and I wasn't there for her. So, yeah, let's address the fact that the killer's standing there and he like looks over at the boyfriend and he like looks at her, he looks at him. And he's like, "Hey," and then the killer's like ready to just start walking away. He's like, "Yeah, I'm done here." He's just like, I thought that was interesting. Like he wasn't ready to fight him. He's like, "Dude, I fight innocent, defenseless women. I'm not about to take on this scrawny guy. I can't fight another man. Get out of here." So, I would ask though, Micah Monroe or Anya Taylor-Joy, Jordan.
I like Maika way better. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I think Anya
I know you're
Taylor-Joy has
obsessed
more
with
range.
Anya.
No, I know. I just think she has more range
Oh.
because like she's going from like Furiosa to like Split, which I would argue is kind of like this movie, right? You play the innocent captive kind of person. But Mike has played that role through.
What?
That's what he says to her when she has like the scrapes on her body or the cuts.
What did he say? I couldn't hear you.
He says you're pure, or like he's like you have, like you are worthy or whatever.
I'm not sure what you're referencing anymore.
I know.
Split, Anna Taylor-Joy. You guys were.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. You guys were
Oh,
Right.
wasted.
Okay. James McAvoy said. I actually thought you were doing like Immortal Joe or someone from.
You
Mad
literally
Max.
just
I thought
talked
you were
about
doing-
Split and Anna Taylor-Joy.
Well,
and
but
I
we did
say a line from that movie, and you're like, "What?"
well, because you were Ty was talking about all the movies she was doing, so we were
It's
trying to
true.
figure out which
Yeah.
one you were talking about.
So anyway,
Especially when you do it with the voice
Cameron,
like this.
how about you? Anya Taylor-Joy.
How are you supposed to know what you're saying?
Anya Taylor-Joy or Micah Monroe? What do you think? Who wins?
Oh, Anna Taylor-Joy probably.
Amen, dude. I'm glad you're on my side.
Just from what's it called? Alone. The Northman Alone. I really liked her in the Northman.
Oh,
She's great.
okay. Well, you guys are
Jordan's
talking.
like,
You're talking
"Oh,
about
now you're-"
Robert Eager's like a master at film.
Yeah, Jordan. That and then also the Vavitch.
The
Yeah.
beach.
She definitely has survived hardship. See, and that's why I was gonna say, like, who's the better final girl was actually the question, right? Like, because Micah, beats It Follows.
Like I said, you're talking
And
about
then-
somebody who probably sacrificed babies to be the best director ever.
Oh my God.
But which
The fact that
she
you laugh
kinda
after that
wins.
is criminal.
I can't help it. Jordan's a psycho.
Ah.
Anyway,
You guys
so
talk
yeah,
about
as
me
far as
being the
final girls-
sociopath serial killer. We're looking at one right now.
yeah, I think Anya Taylor-Joy is more resourceful because in her
She's
movies,
just-
I think she has to do more.
I don't know. I think that has a lot to do because I've seen some of her other movies that were not with good directors, and it's not so great.
Like, let's be honest.
Thoroughbred.
The worst character horror movie
she was
decision
good in
is
that.
like my one
Man.
roommate or my friend that lives next door screamed. I heard her and she's been missing. And then I hear her phone going off, and I think I'm just gonna go wander in there, and I don't know, find out that she's not okay and get strangled by a bag, and then get her throat slit. Just saying, pretty piss poor decision. Didn't go in with a knife or anything. Like,
Yeah, she probably should have
no,
brought something.
she should have brought something. Just
But
and even if
she
it was
knew
a
the
feeble
gun was
attempt.
there. I think she was headed to that. Maybe.
No, she wasn't. She walked around in the room and she's like, "Are you in here?" She should have just walked for the gun and been like, "Are you in here?"
It wasn't until she
Where
saw.
are you?
She wasn't until she saw the decapitated head that she's like, "Oh crap."
I know. She saw the decapitated body first and then was like, "Oh."
Dude, that was a crazy switch up with her nightmare. I was like, oh snap.
Yeah, one dream
Oh, yeah.
sequence that was I forget about that, but not overdone. It was like, okay, like, yeah, because I remember happening and I was like, oh, there's too much. That was the time. Cameron, it's funny you remind me. That was when I checked the time because I was like, this isn't the thing. But
Yeah.
as soon as I checked the time, again, she was already up, and I was like, okay, I just didn't want to go down like a 2-minute rabbit hole of like, I'm being killed, and it's all a dream. It's all some autistic kid's dream inside a snow globe or something. Anyway.
It's just
Actual literal ending
well,
of a movie.
it would have
TV
been.
show.
They could have maybe hit it at an angle where he like drugs her and then she wakes up and not knowing if it was real or a dream.
Is that the gift? That was the gift, wasn't it?
I don't
Drugs the
remember that.
woman after, yeah. Weird movie. Yeah, spoiler, sorry. That's the gift. the gift of life.
Dumbest plot twist of all time is Identity, bro. I'll never forgive that movie for that plot
They're all personalities.
I
Oh
love
my gosh,
Identity.
love
It's
it.
so bad.
So, guys, you guys dude, just double feature this with Berlin Syndrome. You guys are in for a good night, seriously.
Or
Yeah,
Rear
give that one a
Window.
watch.
If
Give
you
that
like
one a
this, watch Rear Window or Disturbia.
Rear Window,
Disturbia.
Disturbia. It Follows kind of had a similar vein. For some reason, I thought of Amelia or whatever. Probably just
Why?
because there's like a
It's like the
shady.
stalker.
No, probably more for the creepy club or something. But I don't know why. So anyway, nice,
Interesting.
nice. What lovely people Romanians are, right? Other thing too, it was her boyfriend that was knocking on the door, and then goes and knocks on the stalker's door. Why was he willing to help her? Because she felt like he
Oh,
felt if
I was
I'm
gonna
in
say
good
he's
with
like the
her
nicest boyfriend
roommate.
ever.
yeah.
I think he was just because like he said like, will you tell her that I came by? I think he was kind of like, I'll do a favor for you, you do a favor for me.
I did that.
Mm.
I did dishes for my now wife's roommates back at the time when she was at school, because I was like, I want them talking me up when I'm not there, and I don't think they talked me up while I wasn't there. And I did a lot of dishes for those folks. In fact, I did the dishes once, and after doing them, she then told me, "Hey Ty, next time you do our dishes, make sure you close the dishwasher because I almost tripped and sprained my ankle." And I was like, yeah, I'll remember that next time I do your dishes. I'll be
Bro, you
sure to remember to close the
tell
dishwasher
her to go kill
with your
herself.
head in it, and I'll close the door on it. Yeah. Freaking next time I do your
Decapitate
dishes.
you.
Yeah. I can't seem to get close to women. And he's strangling her with a bag. All the women I love run away from me. Guys, watch this movie. This is a great movie. We recommend, of course.
Yeah.
This was a good one.
That's a fun one.
Quick question though. You said, Jordan, rewrite the ending though. You're like, I don't know if I like the ending.
Oh, no. I take it back. I
need to hear it.
with any ending with horror movies, I don't know if it's just because I don't want it to end. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's like, because a lot of the times it's like, oh, there's a twist. And I'm like, I don't need a twist. Like, it's just like, I don't know what it is. Like, it's because like the whole film
Jordan wants every movie to end like The Mist.
Oh my gosh, that's so depressing. No, it's just
Yeah, that. Oh my god.
just every single one. I just have a problem. I don't know what it is. It's because I guess it's just different than the rest of the film, where the whole film like just it's got this pace, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, we got to wrap this up really quick, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Feels like a chop. But I would defend.
The pace does definitely pick up at the end.
I like that she becomes the watcher at the end. She's looking back, right? Because the one cynic that mattered most to her was her husband, right? And he had gaslit her. He didn't believe her. The one person that she needed to believe her husband wasn't. And so that look at the end kind of signified to me that she's now like, this is the accountability. I'm watching. I'm watching you. She should have just done one of these.
oh, the cheese. No, the look she gave was perfect. It said it all. It said it all.
She's like, I'm so freaking hungry.
I don't get it.
I need a cheeseburger. No, I'm just saying, it would be really funny. She's like, oh, my stomach. Like, see Jordan wanted the movie to keep going. She's like, I have to go pee. When very realistic, she's like, oh my gosh, I just been through an ordeal.
No. I didn't need more. It was just, I don't know. Like I said, with all horror endings, they usually just wrap it up really quick, and it's usually it's just a change of pace where like I feel like a movie that keeps the same pace is like the Witch, like, where it's like the whole movie just goes that slow pace.
Well, the
that one
ending
gets
kind of
kinda
wraps up. I mean, she's I mean, if you see
Jordan
the end of
the
the Witch, that movie kind of
chicken.
goes crazy.
I honestly don't know, Ty, what it is about any horror endings. I guess I don't want it to.
I don't want it to end. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're like,
I don't
this
want it
was
to
so
end.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jordan's upset because the movie has to end. The
Yeah,
worst
just-
part is the movie had to
If
end.
anyone's a serial killer, it's someone who wants a horror movie to keep going.
Yeah, the serial killer needs to get. Jordan just wants the sequel. He wants the promise of a sequel where at the end of the movie she's like, "Oh, that's a very interesting name, Spider. My middle name is Arachnid." It's like she's gonna become the serial spider killer from now on. Oh
And
my
then
god!
it leads into that, and that's the prequel to Madam Web.
Right before they were researching spiders in the Amazon, right before he died, or she
she had multiple personality. It was her the whole time.
It was her the whole time. Yeah. Oh, freak! Some high tension in here. Get out of here with the garbage. The movie's great. I think it's funny that you said that, Jordan, because I remember thinking like, as soon as it ended, I was like, oh, that was a perfect place to end it. But I agree. It's like, oh, this is a great movie. It's only an hour and a half long. We can make a 6-hour Netflix series about a series of spider murders.
It's basically any horror movie ending. You're like I guess it's just because you build it up so big in your mind. When it finally ends, you're just like, oh, it was just a
Dude,
normal
go
guy.
watch Berlin Syndrome. You'll think it's a sequel or a prequel to this movie. I promise.
Hmm.
Berlin
Well,
Syndrome. Check
I've
it
got it
out.
on my list. I'll check it
Yeah,
out. All right.
it's good, especially after watching this though, because you're gonna be like, "Oh, dude, we got to review it on the pod." You're like, there's so many things about it
Next
that
week's
deal
movie.
with, yeah, you'll like it. Trust me.
All right.
And
What
it's
have you
just one of those
seen?
things that, yeah, kind of disappeared, But I'm gonna go rewatch Berlin Syndrome after watching this. So I'm looking forward to that. Cameron, what are movies that you've seen lately?
I haven't been on like so
Eat your
there's like a
mic.
decent amount of things that I've seen. I rewatched all of season 2 of Invincible because the second half with Jake and Grant because they hadn't seen up until the finale, or they haven't
Mm.
seen any of the second season, and I'd already seen it all. Holy cow, dude, it's so insane.
That's
And
so
they're all
good.
and they've confirmed that their season 3 is in the works. They said hopefully it won't take as long as
No. Season 2 is perfect. They don't need to tell more of a story, right? Perfectly wrapped up. There's nothing left unsaid.
I know, dude. I'm so excited. It was
I'm like,
like
come
I'm
on.
like I'm ready for season 3, episode 1 already. Um,
No.
and it's confirmed for season 4 and 5 as well. So let's
Oh,
go.
that's cool.
Um,
That's cool.
and then
It's good
I
because then they can kind of arc out the story. Because I was worried, yeah, they might either rush it or because I'm always impressed with like how they're able to continue the story. Where I'm like, yeah, where do you even go from here? And I'm like, oh wow,
dude,
they
there's so
got
many.
this.
It's
We're in
like
the
Game of
capable
Thrones. There's
hands of
so many
Robert Kirkman.
subplots.
Yes,
I'm
yeah,
like, holy fudge. Like I'm
yeah,
like I forgot about uh what's his name? Big Brain guy.
Hmm.
yeah.
I don't
Big
remember
Brain
his
Man.
name. Big Brain
Yeah,
Man.
when he popped up, like I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot you were in this.
When his brain popped up. Yep.
And then Jake showed me the first episodes of 2 anime, Ninja Kamui and Psycho Pass. Both are pretty fun. The concept of or Psycho Pass is really cool. It's like essentially it's like this future world where anyone that's deemed uh a like a psychopath, there's a gun that like will fire on them, and it gauges how much of a psycho that they think they are. It's kind of like Minority Report, but like imagine a gun that's a Minority Report. And so if it gauges them as like a low level criminal, it'll tase. And then if it deems them as like like an immediate threat, it will shoot to kill. And so it's kind of crazy.
Does it tase each time they try to commit a crime, or is it just like a one-time tase in your life, and you're like, I'm a good boy from here on out? How does that
Oh
work?
no, no. Like it'll immediately read your body. Like like for example, a cop could be like good in a moment, and then like it gets punched in the face by like a random citizen, and then his psychopath could now read as like immediate threat, shoot to kill. So it essentially like
Oh, so
it analyzes you currently. So it
okay,
analyzes all these
there's
factors and has an
basically
algorithm.
so there's a gun to your head, essentially, a proverbial gun that will go off any minute that you stop becoming a
It's
good citizen.
no,
Oh,
there's police officers that have these guns, and
um,
like they track down people who like,
huh.
for example, there's an instance going on in like this district or whatever, and they go like capture this criminal or whatever. But then if they interact with like a homeless person who's like trying to fight them, it'll like scan them and be like, oh, they're a threat, but not like a threat to kill. So it'll tase. So that you fire the gun, and then
Okay,
if the
like
person
RoboCop,
yeah, kind of like a RoboCop, except
yeah,
in a weapon. It's cool. And
or
then
Terminator, yeah.
Jordan showed me and kind of a bunch of us Bell. Holy cow.
Oh yeah.
Blown
Bell?
away.
What's
Um
Bell?
it's like essentially
Beauty and the Beast.
if Beauty and the Beast and Ready Player One had a child, and it's animated.
Beast.
So cool. And I'm gonna rewatch it in the next little bit, and I might do it as either my next choice or the choice after that. And then
Bell? What is this
it might
movie?
go my
Beauty
top
and the
100.
Beast?
It's insane.
What is this movie?
Yeah,
Is it in your
it's really good.
letterbox?
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Adventure Time, and I've been showing Colton Death Note. In the beginning, he was like, it was kind of hard for him to get into it, but now like we're getting into the part where he's kind of like, okay, I can like watch episodes back to back. Like it's pretty enjoyable. And
Yes.
I just love the cat and mouse is so crazy and how genius L is. And then with Jordan, I watched A History of Violence, which was like really cheesy and just totally made for Jordan. It's fun. The practical effects are insane.
I love how much the young kid was just killing you. It was
Oh
so
my
good.
gosh. Every single high school scene in that movie, I was like, stop, all these people. Like all those football jocks, I'm like, bro, these are probably all people because of the way they're interacting. Like, yeah. I was just like, what? No human being
No,
speaks.
but the line that got us the best and we were laughing so hard was when he's like, "So what, Dad, if I what is it? I do something criminal, are you gonna want a piece of the
Yeah.
action?"
Yeah. Or he's like, "What, are you gonna whack me?" I was like,
If I do something bad, are you gonna whack me? It's
I'm like, no child would talk to their father this way, finding out
That's
that he's
so
criminal.
funny.
Oh,
Oh, we were dying.
but yeah, it was pretty funny. This is like solid 6 out of 10. And then Belle is a 9 out of 10. It might get 10 out of 10, but very rarely. But it might make my top 100 on a rewatch. And then watch Civil War with Jordan in theaters.
So good, Ty.
Very different. It's Alex Garland's fourth directed film. And very different than his first three because he's kind of like that thriller horror genre. And this one was like a
War.
futuristic biopic, like I don't know, yeah, like war. I don't know. It was really interesting. Cool characters. Cinematography was insane. I mean, which is kind of like on brand for Alex Garland. Cinematography in all of his movies is always insane, like Annihilation, Ex Machina. I haven't seen Men, but enjoyed that. Forward
Wait, you
to
haven't seen Annihilation or Ex Machina?
No, he hasn't
no, I
seen
haven't seen Men.
Men.
Oh, Men. Sorry. I thought
Yeah.
you said haven't seen them. And I was like cinematography, like these other movies, and I haven't seen them, but I hear the cinematography is great. I'd love to see it someday. I don't know why I just thought that was funny. Sorry. I haven't seen Men. Oh,
but-
that's dude, come on. That's gotta be Men. That's the stupidest title of a movie. I'm sorry. Like again, I haven't seen Men, so why am I criticizing it? But this is like You, right? The stupid Netflix show called You. Call it The Watcher. That would have been a much better title. The internal dialogue.
It started
Stalker.
an argument in our podcast group chat because someone will mention the TV series You without saying the TV
Yeah.
series. You'll say
You watch You
You
yet?
was, and then he's like, "What?
You watched?
What do you mean?"
Did you watch? No, I didn't watch. What did you watch? Did you watch You? No, what do you mean?
Yeah.
So stupid.
Yeah, it's
Who's
like the
on
Rush Hour
first?
3 scene.
Are you deaf?
You are me. I'm excited for Monkey Man. It looks interesting.
It's What's Up, Doc. It's not Rush Hour, Cameron. What's Up, Doc did it. I'm sure
No,
someone did it before
Rush
them.
Hour 3 also does it.
I know, but who did it first, Cameron?
Yeah.
Think about how old that
I'm
movie
saying
is.
he also did it. I wasn't saying he did it first.
But when you say it's a Rush Hour thing, he did the What's Up, Doc thing. Or he did whatever came before then. Right? I guess it was Abbott and Costello thing.
Anyway.
Oh yeah. There's the
I'm
interview.
also excited for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare and then Fall Guy.
I do want to see Fall Guy.
And then I'm excited to just keep watching Fetch and Death Note because it's so good.
So good.
Half of it's good.
No, dude, go back and
I
watch.
need to finish that series someday. I will.
It's still good.
I've watched the first half twice. I love it. Okay, guys, I have a treat to drop on your door. I watched the first season of Fallout. Holy crap, it's good.
No
Give it a
spoil.
watch.
That's
I
what I've
won't spoil
heard.
anything. It's very good. Like this is a show that I finally got hyped to watch, and I'm like, dude, I can't wait for. Of course, it'll get greenlit for another season because it's so well done. But I was like, it's so good. So it's got all the things. And when you mentioned Civil War, I watched a trailer for Civil War, and I was like, oh, Fallout is way better. But I digress because I will watch Civil War. But for some reason, if you guys liked Civil War as much as you did, definitely give Fallout a watch. Have you ever played the game?
I
played the
tried. I
game
couldn't get
once.
into
Yeah.
it.
I played the game one time,
It's
and
the
I
gun
was like,
mechanics. I can't get used to that. It's like, all right, pick where you want to shoot them and how they want to die. And I'm like, what?
It's kind of out there. But
Colton
again, I
explained the
love
premise to me though.
explain the premise. So
Yeah.
just
No, Colton explained the premise to me, and it
oh,
sounds
okay,
interesting.
okay. Yeah. It's one of those post-apocalyptic world things that I love. I love all those kinds of things, but either way, there's something in it for everyone because like it doesn't like it's hard to explain. Give it a watch, and very quickly though, because I was hooked after 1-2 episodes. Like I was like, this is there's 8 episodes, each play for about an hour, but just 2 thumbs up. Definitely give it a watch. And if I had a choice, I would definitely say we'd need to review it on the pod. So but just give it a watch, and if you guys don't like it, that's fine. I just want you to at least try it out. because it just hit prime. So very, very good. And again, I too didn't play the Fallout game, but I did like that retro poster, the kid with the thumb up. It's kind of fun. There's definitely plenty of Easter eggs, but again, I don't know. I never played the video game through and through. I tried Fallout 4, I think was the one I tried, and it didn't stick. So I'm curious now that I've seen the first season to go and see maybe like cutscenes of all the Fallout games and try to see how they compare or whatever. Maybe watch
They're at the
playthroughs.
top of the sell shelves on Xbox right now, all the Fallout games, because
Is that right?
yeah.
They have to be. And obviously, and again, like I said, video game or not, this show works. So I want you guys to give it a watch. But
I'll
anyway,
definitely watch it.
That's my biggest recommendation. And Berlin Syndrome, watch those. Because I'm gonna go rewatch Berlin Syndrome after watching Watcher. So what about you, Jordan?
So let's see. I rewatched not the whole movie, but I just watched just one scene from Joker, and it's that stair scene.
Hey,
It's the air pump.
Joker 2 is gonna be awful. You heard it here first, folks.
I thought the trailer looked good.
Yeah.
I did a little research and check this out. This is pretty cool. So the lady that composed the music, I'm gonna butcher her name. So it's Hildur Guðnadóttir, I think. And
I think you nailed it.
okay.
Guano.
Guano.
Sounds
So
so familiar.
Ty, check this out. So she worked with Johan Johansson on Arrival, Prisoners, Sicario, and she played the cello in those songs with him. And so that's why in Joker, there's such a heavy emphasis on the cello, is because that's her main instrument of choice. And I can't not think of the scene from Tenet when the guy's like stomping the cello, and what I think of the cello. But just a few notes I wanted to mention, because we didn't mention it on the pod, is she also did the music for Chernobyl, and holy cow, does she good at making like building that suspense. And I just thought it was so cool that like Joaquin listened to her music on the set, and that's why when he did all his dance moves, it looked like it was like literally moving to the beat of the music, because he was. And I just thought that was really cool. They were like this perfect, what is it called, when like they're meshed really well together? Coalition? That's not the right word.
Collaboration?
Yeah.
Cohesion?
Cohesion, thank you. That's a better word.
I'm pretty sure collaboration is the best word. Better than cohesion. Collaboration, Jordan. That's the word you're looking for.
Well, I just mean like when somebody is like that's how you would describe
they collaborate, yes.
No, it's like the connection.
Tenant. It's tenant that you're looking for. When they tenant.
When they tenant together.
When they tenant.
So I just want to mention too, the cello music at the beginning of Arrival totally reminds me of the Telltale Walking Dead game. Just the music sounds very similar in my opinion. And then I just also her cello music in Sicario just builds so much tension. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that also just makes me cry in Prisoners, It's so good. Very amazing.
I'm interested. Where did all this love for the music come from? Are you listening to the soundtracks of movies lately or something? Or?
Yeah, and I've just been like listening to Johan Johansson. I've been crying to his music, and I'm like, I did a little bit more research into
You're gone too soon, man.
I know, and I just like listening to the people he worked with, and then I found out about her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like she made a ton of
her vein of music.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh my gosh, she made like all this amazing music for great things. So I just went like down this little rabbit hole, and I got stuck in it.
No, so it's funny that you say it, because I've been on this serious kick of not just Nolan films, but I was like Hans Zimmer. I was looking at Ludwig Göransson, who did freaking
he did the music for Death Wish, Ty.
Yeah. So I looked at all of his movies. I didn't go back and listen to Death Wish. I should go listen to some of these other movies, but like the freaking soundtrack to
because Cameron
Oppenheimer was just so unbelievable. Because we talk about the performances and the scale and everything, but the music really also
unreal.
So I've been listening to it, and it's like, and it's awe-inspiring because it also gives me that sense of dread. And I'm like, how did he do that? Like, he made a song that gives me that existential dread that the movie poses at the end with that question. Like,
well, there's like, and if you sit through the end credits of a movie, there's so much that goes into a movie. So sometimes we don't hit every aspect of it. And so that's why I just wanted to mention the music, because I went back and listened to our episodes, and I was like, oh, we didn't mention her music. And I just wanted to give a shout out to that because
No, I love it. And
Yeah.
and part of me is the ignorance because I'm like, yeah, there's so many things to talk about, and it's
Yeah.
hard to like even go down these rabbit holes and research this stuff because I'm like, that music's good. What can I say?
and I feel bad because the people that get the most credit and we talk about the most
Yeah.
are the directors and some of the
Yeah,
actors.
Yeah, the stuff you see, not so much what you hear, and I think
Yes.
that's cool.
And
that
I
you-
feel like the hearing part is honestly sometimes even more important and elevates the movie even more.
Well, that's what Denis Villeneuve says, right? He's like, oh, let's see. Does he say dialogue or does he say what you see? Because Denis Villeneuve said, I want to say either Ridley Scott said it's what you see on the screen, and then or what you hear. I can't remember. Gosh, I feel stupid because I know
Yeah.
one of the big directors. It was either Denis Villeneuve. He said like it's not like, or no, Christopher Nolan also said this. He's like the dialogue doesn't necessarily matter as much, which is kind of funny because he's like
It literally
it's like
drowns out the
it's the
words.
feeling and the emotion that it inspires,
Yeah.
not the plot points. So he's actually not concerned with that, even though his movies are really well thought out, like the science and all that stuff for a lot of his movies, like they hold water, like they're pretty impressive that he's thought through them so well. But he's also like, I just want you to feel
I
it
thought they were all
more than think.
documentaries, Ty.
Yeah. Well, if anyone shoves a pencil through a piece of paper when they fold it, that's like legit science that Neil deGrasse Tyson's would, so. And then Denis Villeneuve said something really cool too in an interview where I swear it was either the sound, but like if you think about it, movie media is literally image and sound. Those are your
50%
two.
both, yeah.
Yeah, but he literally puts the emphasis on more of what you're hearing or seeing. Gosh, I wish I could remember because he does both so well. He does the image and the sound so well, but he gives so much credit to one over the other, and I think that's interesting, right? Because you're almost like there are some movies where you could watch without the sound, and you're like, it's still beautiful on the background. Like any of Denis Villeneuve's
or any Zack Snyder movie.
Snyder movie, yeah, you could take out the sound because it's just
But
gullible.
honestly, a lot of movies, my favorite movies are the ones I can just listen to, like Blade Runner, because it's like the soundtrack is
and that's
perfect.
the other. There are some movies that are like you can kind of it's just back shot, it's just a good story, it's good dialogue. So it's like those are kind of the two that you play with, and sometimes when they come together, it's the freaking sound and the visuals, and it's freaking the tenet of. I'm gonna start saying that they really tenet really well together, and you're like, wait.
Well, now people can see because when we recorded the episode of Tenet, Ty kept doing this.
yes,
and nobody knew because we were.
Oh, was that? Oh, yeah, for listeners. Yeah, well, hey, this podcast now has visual and audio components to it. So there you go. If you were only listening, you had a different experience than those that were watching.
Now you can just look at our ugly faces.
Yeah, because we don't add any clips. I saw someone. Where's the movie? It's like, I think they just want pirated versions of the movie, though. To be fair, I don't think they just want us to play the trailer over us talking.
And what's the expression "eat your heart out"? Because somebody said that in our last episode. Ty, he said, "Eat your heart out," David Letterman. What does that mean?
Eat your heart out, like we're better like it's obviously sarcastic. Like David Letterman, look how good these guys are as talk show host. I would assume it's a negative comment, but that's just the pessimist in me. Because if I were being like, oh, Christopher Nolan, eat your heart out, look at this production, like
because I've heard the expression. I've heard the expression in Die Hard. The guy's like, "Eat your heart out," Channel 9, and I was like, I don't know what that means.
Eat your heart out, isn't it? Like if it's a sarcastic remark. It's a sarcastic remark for something that's inferior to.
Ty's talking too much.
Oh, I'm sorry. You asked Cameron. What it was. Do you want?
I know Cameron's take on it?
All I was saying is I don't get it. Oh my gosh.
I was like, I'm waiting to hear something important. Cameron just said it. Cameron's finally speaking.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ty, keep going.
No, it's just it's usually in sarcasm. So I'd be like if I sang to you guys, you'd be like, oh, Celine Dion, eat your heart out. Look how good this guy is. And you're like, he's awful. So sorry to burst your bubble, but the comment wasn't a nice thing. We're making fun of the fact that David Letterman's like one of the greats of late night talk show hosts. Or it could have been a reference to Late Night with the Devil, right?
No, it was. That was what he was talking about.
But maybe he wasn't insulting us because we're not late night show talk hosts. Maybe he was like, did I say tacos? I said talk hosts, but I didn't make it sound like tacos. We're not late night show
food right now.
talk hosts. Yeah, I'm just hungry, guys. I need to get out of here. Guys, any other thoughts? Any thoughts, prayers, wishes, jokes?
Movie's good.
Sanity? Movie's good. Give this one a watch. Oh, go watch Berlin Syndrome. Just you two guys.
Oh my gosh, you're plugging that
the movie's
so
more
hard.
messed up, but it's more messed up than this one. So be prepared.
To watch Berlin Syndrome.
Maybe I'll make it my movie next week because then you'll be like, oh, I think I like this more. And Jordan will be like, "Oh, I don't know about the ending. I could direct a better ending.
Jordan,
Eat your heart out."
Jake and Strider really want to both come on for Palm Springs, so I might do that as my next choice to have them on.
Groundhog Day with Andy Samberg.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one. I did see Map of 10 Perfect
fun.
Things. It was like the other.
Yeah.
Leave us an email, futuremovies@gmail.com. Tell us a movie like us to review in the past, in the present, and the future. Tenet, all the times.
I knew it was gonna bring it back to that.
I just goofed and I can't think of anything. Guys, we love you lots. Peace. Fumwasa movies. Go enjoy a Fumwasa day.